Well, hi everyone. It's great to see you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're very excited to be here with all of you. And tonight is, well, what's tonight?
It's Monday.
And what happens on Monday, Kevin?
Yeah, well, it's Marriage Monday.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Say it with some enthusiasm.
All right, Monday.
No, it's Marriage
Monday.
Come on.
Marriage Monday, everybody. It's time for us to get going.
8 months you put me through that, so I just figured it was my turn.
That was payback, is that right?
Absolutely. Well, it's great to have you here. And we're excited, as we always say, every Monday when we do get together. It's a great time to have a restart, just to, have a great night of talking about our marriages, your marriage, our marriage, and we just hope that in that process we get something great that will help us. And we've been talking about our 2020 marriage fixes, and so we hope that tonight we will have another one that will be, no, we don't hope, we know that tonight this is going to be a great one for all of you and us as well.
That's right. So it's time for us to kind of get started. I don't know if you've noticed, Lisa, did you notice this week it kind of got colder?
Yeah, very cold.
Yeah, so we live, of course, in Toronto, in the area here in southern Ontario in Canada, and it got colder this week. All of you who are with us here tonight live streaming, you know it got colder, and so we just want to talk a little bit about your homes. And here's a concept that we want to start off with, since it's married people and it's marriages. Mm-hmm. We want to talk about turning up the heat in our marriage.
Oh, please.
Turning up the heat in our marriage. But before we do that, let's ask some basic questions about your home and the heating of your home, but especially what kind of person you are. Drop this in the chat with us and sort of share. So you have to listen closely to this question. I want to ask you, at night, when you're sleeping, when you go to your bedroom, it's time for you to fall asleep, what kind of person, what kind of sleeper are you when it comes to the heat and the blankets in your house? So here it is. What kind of sleeper are you? Are you A person who sleeps with the window open even through the wintertime? Are you B, a person who sleeps with one leg out of the blankets? Or are you C, a person who is wrapped up in the blankets like a mummy inside a sarcophagus, just completely, wrapped up is the best word, locked down, nothing's going to harm you in that way. So drop in the chat A, B, or C. A, do you sleep with the window open? So a lot of people, they sort of turn up the heat really hot, and then they open their window. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. B, do you sleep with like one leg hanging out or something like that? Or no, sorry. B was one leg hanging out, and then C, are you wrapped up, mummy, in the tomb, pyramids, sort
that's
of thing.
Great. Well, Matthew's a C,
so that's a mummy.
It's coming fast. Yes.
The mummies.
Anthony is a B and a C. Sherry's a C. Hazel's a C. Wow, we got a lot of C's.
Yeah. So these are.
Oh, Savika, I sleep with one leg out of the blanket, and Chris has his personal fan. Okay.
Savika, I thought you were supposed to be Chris's personal fan.
Judy's a B. Okay, the Achampons are B and B. What was B again?
So that was like one leg hanging out.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, sort of the appendage sleeping.
Craig is A, B, C. Nice. I think I'm A, B, C, definitely. Window open, leg out, and wrapped up. And all in different combinations throughout the night, depending.
So that's like sleeping with the Tasmanian devil or something like that. This is crazy.
Oh, there's more A and C's in the summer. Oh, yeah, it depends. Okay, no, we're talking about the winter time here. Come on, yeah. Okay, we've got a lot of B's and C's, and so, yeah. Yeah,
so here's another question we just wanted to ask as we get started is, do you have, as far as heating your home, do you have the thermostat on the wall at your home? Or do you have an app on your phone that turns the thermostat up and down? Or do you chop wood?
Okay, is there an A, B, and C to that?
Yeah, okay, so A is the traditional thermostat on the wall. B, you've got an app that controls the heat in your house. Or C, you chop wood.
You chop wood. I want someone to say they chop wood.
Yeah, we got to have
Someone's got to have a wood chopper.
Someone somewhere.
Yes.
Certainly we got somebody like it lives up in Alaska or something like that.
So we got a lot of people with the traditional on the wall. Yes. And combined with,
Charmaine is
the app on the phone.
And she chops wood. Did you see that? It went by. It went by pretty fast.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Okay, the chat is moving tonight. I like it. That's great.
All right, so let's, thanks everybody for joining us. That was a little bit of a, hey, we were talking about turning up the heat, but we just played an icebreaker. Everybody, did you get that? Turned up the heat, but we played an icebreaker.
Good one, Kevin.
Oh, Lisa, when you patronize me by saying my name, it's so special. That's a good one.
It was a good one.
Yeah, thanks. So here's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're talking about we're going to talk about turning up the heat, and we're really excited tonight because our topic is going to be on PDA, but we'll get to that in just a second. This is a 2020 marriage fix for you. It's Kevin and Lisa helping you with that, our marriage, your marriage, and hopefully as we end this crazy year, that we talk about our marriage in a way to make sure that we are always whatever. And a few episodes ago, we talked about being on the same page. Last time we were together, we talked about when you speak to each other, always speak like the mic's on.
That was a good one.
And tonight we're going to turn up the heat and talk about PDA. We'll get to that in just a second. But we want to also tell you that we're excited that this year is coming to an end. That's the wrong way to say it, isn't it? We're excited this year is coming to an end, but we're all especially excited the year is coming to an end because when 2021 starts, we are going to be having a really cool marriage thing in the new year, and we're calling it, I've said this for a couple weeks now, but we're calling it Kevin and Lisa's Great Big Marriage Thing. Great Big Marriage Thing. You got to look forward to that. Come in January. We're going to get back on here. Well, we're actually here next week as well. And then we're back in January. We're going to give you a lot more information, ways that you can sign up and be a part of Kevin and Lisa's Great Big Marriage Thing. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we just want to make sure that you knew this. Last week I announced a date, and it was the right date for last week, but the wrong date for this week. So please, if you have your calendars handy, or if you can remember this, February 27th, the last weekend of February is when the Great Big Marriage Thing is going to be happening. You want to tell all your friends who are married and show up for that. So
last Saturday of February.
Last Saturday of February. So that being said, tonight we're going to talk about turning up the heat through PDA. PDA.
Very cool. So what is PDA? What do you think we mean when we say PDA? Maybe you could put that in the chat. What do you think we mean when we say PDA, Kevin?
Well,
I think that PDA is a term we used to use a lot more in the early 90s. I don't hear it as much now.
I think
PDA.
Maybe, we were just actually. Before we got started, it's Kevin and Lisa here, and with us, as always, with an audience of one, the effervescent Chris Ramos is always with us. He's our tech guy. He helps us really go well. And we decided, Chris has been in the shadows, literally in the shadows, for 8 months now, 9 months. So we said, hey, we want you guys to see Chris, and here he is. And so, Chris, before we got ready, you said a word for PDA. When Lisa said, "How do I look?" you said what?
I said, "Please don't ask."
Please don't ask. PDA.
Wait a second. That's because I specifically said.
No, don't tell him. Okay. Don't tell him. But okay, so that's not the PDA that we're talking about tonight. Although that's some wise words to husbands out there. When your wife asks you one of those questions that is trouble, please don't ask. But if we throw this over to Chris, when we talk about, before we just throw it to Chris, and when we talk about PDA, we're really talking about public
display of affection.
Display of affection. Public display of affection.
Yes, and I see the chat. Lots of people know what what PDA is.
That's right. Yes. So what we want to ask Chris is what Lisa asked. So are you and your wife a PDA kind of people?
Yeah, tell us.
What do you think, Chris?
I'm nervous.
You're nervous because of your wife?
Because my wife is watching and she's not here. I have to go back to her later.
Tell the truth.
But PDA, public display of affection. I think my wife and I are very hands-on, and by hands-on I mean we like to hold hands. When we're in public, we like to hug. And then I also lovingly and playfully push her around with lots of gentle love. that's PDA for me.
All right, very good. So that
That's
was
awesome.
that was the eternal Chris Ramos who's telling us.
Very nice.
What did he
nicely
cop
put.
to right there? He just talked about pushing his wife around. Now, we don't
No.
condone that at all. That's
They're playful. They're playful. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But what about you? What do you think in your marriage? Put in the chat as well. Do you think you show a lot of PDA, medium amount, not a lot? You know, what's our crowd like tonight as far as PDA in your marriage?
Yep.
That's a good question to ask. In fact, we asked that recently with some couples that we were together with. We said
right.
that we said of all of us, who has the most PDA? And I thought it was us, and they were like, no way! I was so shocked.
We were kind of called out on not
Yeah.
having much PDA, so we're changing that, right?
I hope so.
Absolutely. We're not going to be last place in the PDA department. So
Okay, so let's see what people are saying about their. Oh, Tony says he is. Judy says lots of PDA. Nice. Shannon says Chris is hilarious.
yeah. Well, we already knew that. Though,
Okay,
right?
yeah. So, and the Achapons like to kiss goodbye. That's very sweet. Very, very good.
You had a really cool analogy about that kind of stuff.
You
This
know,
kind of
well,
stuff.
because we knew we were going to talk about PDA because it's a fantastic topic. And so I was asking another couple, a spouse, what their marriage was like. And she gave me this great analogy of a yo-yo. And I have never in all my life heard of this analogy. And it's that they like to do, they use this metaphor of a yo-yo. You know how does everyone know what a yo-yo is? You know, the yo-yo goes down and then you bring it back up. And so they kind of have this mindset that wherever they are, they go out, they do their thing, they work, they have their jobs, they, whatever, but they always are coming back together. They're always thinking of it like a yo-yo. We go out, we come back together. So they're always reconnecting. I thought that was really beautiful. And even post-COVID, when we are back together with more crowds than we are presently, it's a really beautiful analogy to think about, because she was telling me specifically for them when they're at events or family gatherings, that they will, go out and talk to people and then kind of circle back and just touch base. And even if she's in the kitchen or whatever, he'll come by and see if she's okay. And I just thought that was beautiful.
Yeah, I really like the analogy because it speaks a number of things. First of all, it's taking care of your spouse, literally. It's sending a message to them that they're important if you're in a crowd. But even right now in COVID, as you sort of sit in your house, if you're working all day, from one person's in the office working, another person might be somewhere else, but to sort of every 20 minutes or 30 minutes or so, sort of get a chance to circle out, just sort of touch base. I think that's a really cool way of sending that kind of message.
And I hope people don't think that's corny, because I think it really speaks to a togetherness, which we've been talking about with this 2020 Fix series. We keep referring back to that scripture, what God has brought together, let no man separate. And I just think it really speaks to them claiming each other as each other's person in this life, and very, very together. I just love that.
Yeah, you know what I think?
What?
I think if people think it's corny, they probably need to get more corny in their marriage.
True.
Oh,
true.
yes, he did.
Yes,
he
yes.
brought it. It's true. And that's really what I think. Honestly, there's so many things that we try to bring with marriage. On Marriage Monday, we try to share. And, it can sort of be overwhelming. But a lot of it is, let's be honest, most of the stuff we end up talking about is not like, bam, my mind was blown. I've never thought about this. Like being married, you probably know how to be married, right? You know what you're doing. You just need to do it, right?
That's
and these
true.
kind of things are very important. So public display of affection, we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're just going to get some of us to start thinking of its importance and considering its value a little bit more. Why? What's this all really about? Let me just remind you again, we're talking about a 2020 marriage fix. And one way that you can fix, tune up, help, or keep your marriage running well is this public display of affection. So, it's physical touch, kind of like what Chris talked about, not necessarily pushing each other around, but lovingly pushing each other around.
Playful.
But yes, in a playful way. But it's really so much more. It's sending that message of you are important. So let's talk now about all of those of us who are a little bit like me. There's some people in this world whose love language is not touch. That's not the first go-to. There's people who just don't like to be touched. There can be a lot of reasons. It can be they're too ticklish. I don't like to be touched. Don't love physical touch and those kind of things. It can come from some negative in your past. But there's those of us who don't love being touched. And it seems to be those of us who are like that, we kind of use that as an excuse. Well, that's not my thing. But even if that's you, and it may be you, certainly for myself, I don't know why it is. It's a little bit, I'm very ticklish. There's that.
You certainly are.
And I just, but, I think, first of all, you've got to just think about it a little bit and realize when it comes to public display of affection, I think somebody said on the chat earlier on that we've been told to get a room. Yeah, that's one public display of affection. The goal isn't for everybody around you to be grossing out all the time because you guys are all over each other, right? But public display of affection is many range. And for those of us who are always like, don't touch me, my personal space and stuff like that, just remember you are married and you have a responsibility, even a role and a need in that area. So if that doesn't move you, something to think about as well is that physical touch is just very important for your life, right? For your well-being. Physical touch, listen to some of this stuff. If you let yourself be touched by your spouse, even just, hey, we're washing dishes. Yeah, go ahead, honey. I'm going to start purring in a second. So if you let yourself be touched, if you display publicly displays of affection and receive it, it actually lowers your blood pressure. Lowers your blood pressure. It actually increases those good hormones. We'll talk about this a little bit more in just a second, but serotonin and dopamine, etc., endorphins get firing in your body. These are all things, A, that make you feel good and are ultimately better for you. Yes. So all the things that have to do with your brain and your body. Now listen, I'm asking you to love your spouse and to be willing to be touched and to touch them, but if you're just purely selfish, it's good for you. So just do it for that reason.
Absolutely. There's so many examples of public displays of affection that don't have to gross everybody out around you. Like Chris talked about, holding hands. That's very sweet. And sitting close to each other and snuggling on the couch. Of course, this time of year is a great time to snuggle up on the couch.
By the fire.
By the fire. Whispering to each other. That's cool. A couple when they're still in love enough to want to kind of whisper in each other's ear and make eyes at each other, and maybe get a foot rub while you're sitting on the couch. There's so many.
Foot rubs,
I love foot rubs, and there's so many ways that we can really show this kind of affection. And for Kevin, he mentioned that that's not his love language. For me, it absolutely is. And PDA on me definitely has all those things he talked about. Helps to lower my stress, really actually releases negativity in my life, helps me to tune into my happiness frequency, I like to call it. I listen to music, you get on YouTube like we are right now, and you can find music that will tune you into your happiness frequency. That's one that I found recently. So,
your happiness frequency.
We all need more happiness frequencies in our life. So,
okay.
but physical affection does that for us, and just really helps me anyway feel secure, more peaceful, just calmer, and just really a lot more cherished. I guess I would say, that you really love me, and I just love when we're affectionate with each other. Hugging, kissing, goodbye, hello, everything like that. So
I like it too.
There's a lot of benefits without the science even, there's just so many benefits to being affectionate with our spouses.
Yep, so we thought just how can we show some sort of practicals, and then we thought we could just turn this into a humorous exercise. So we wanted to hear from you guys. How do you guys, public display of affection is really so big, isn't it? There's so many areas, but let's just take holding hands, for instance. Let's take holding hands. How do you guys hold hands? Like, this is very important to establish early in the relationship, how you hold hands. So we're going to sort of sit forward here. So here's my question. Do you, when holding hands, you want to give me your hand, when you're holding hands, do you do the interlocking fingers when you hold hands? And you're maybe walking around or you're sitting on the couch together? Interlocking fingers? Or do you do, what is this called, sort of the cup? The cup holding hands, right? Oh, but wait, there's more to this, because also, whilst holding hands, who's on the bottom and who's on the top? Huh? Like, so this way or that way? What's your
What's your go-to hand hold?
Stuart says arm in arm. He's cheating on me already. We're talking about
Stuart.
holding hands here. Interlocking fingers, cupped hands. Which way do you do it? But here's the most important thing that I had to establish: interlocking until our hands cramp. Wow,
nice, Grace. Nice.
Interlocking. Wow, interlocking. We don't interlock hardly at all, do we? It's because I have these big bony fingers, I think. Big knobby knuckles and stuff like that. But interlocking is man, we're getting a lot of
interlocking.
Yeah, how about that? Okay, so here's something we had to establish early in our relationship. Who's on top, who's on bottom? We just had to establish that early. I'm talking about holding hands still.
Yes.
Don't go there.
Okay.
One time, early in our love life, we were walking. I reached out, to take Lisa's hand, and what did you do?
I still don't know.
You don't know? How can you not know? This is super important to me.
Yeah.
So she took the lead. See, if
Is
you're
that
on,
the lead?
if
I
you're
didn't
on
know
top,
that was the
means
lead.
You're on the lead.
Really?
Right? Yeah. And I'm like, I don't like this.
It felt very natural for me.
I don't feel good about this at all. I was like, no way, sister. I'm on the top. You see that?
Oh, my goodness.
Establishing a relationship early. I'm just kidding. All that stuff probably doesn't matter.
Not really, though.
Yeah, don't get insecure. This might be my problem there. But it's an issue with having long ape-like arms. I want it in the front, not in the back. It's the whole thing there. So holding hands as far as public display of affection. What do you think? Do you think
I think I love the chat. Judy says it depends if he's walking too slow or too fast. That's great.
There you go. There you go. So next we're going to talk a little bit, since we're talking about PDA, there's public display of affection, and that's important in the 2020 marriage fix, but there's also, PDA, private display of affection.
Yes.
Private display of affection, then that's probably that's a lot of people get excited about, or a lot of people go, oh no, not again. We're going to talk about this.
It really is everything that we talked about with public display of affection in private as well. But we think there's a little more to it, and we're not going to have a talk on intimacy tonight, but more private displays of affection, which is more
intimacy.
Yeah, but more skin on skin,
Oh, I like that.
And I like thinking about it. My little metaphor is with vitamin D. Most of us know that vitamin D can only be absorbed through our skin, like from the sun I'm talking about. We can't get it through our snow jackets, unfortunately. So you all need to be taking your vitamin D this winter, and every winter. But anyway, so I feel like it's the same with private display of affection. We need more than just, a hug or a snuggle on the couch, but we need more skin on skin. And there's so many studies about this. Do your own research. There's studies, of course, with babies and moms, when they first are born, how they put them right on the mom's chest, and skin on skin is so healthy for the baby, calms the baby down.
Bonding. It's real
and the bonding,
yeah.
The oxytocin, more of those feel-good hormones are produced. And it's the same with us, with our spouses. We need that skin on skin. And we need to be close. Mm-hmm. And we need to be kissing, too. I think you were going to talk about the benefits of kissing, because you did talk about kissing a little bit earlier, but there's so much more involved with the chemicals in your brain and your body that happen when you kiss. So
funny you should ask, Lisa. I've done some research on kissing, and I think everybody can be encouraged about this. There is, what did you say? You said something to me earlier this week about kissing in married couples. Well,
there's just a lot of research that shows the more years that are added to a marriage, the less, unfortunately, people seem to kiss. And it's pretty sad that it's the teenagers and,
the teenagers? Those married teenagers, they're always kissing.
It's the young people, first in love, the first years, that are so
telling you,
full of affection.
Marriage is wasted on the honeymooners.
Yes,
It's a
exactly.
waste.
And so
Absolutely.
the statistics show that, and we should try and beat those statistics. So
That's
tell
right.
us the benefits of kissing.
Yeah, there is really so many, and again, this is not anything that you don't know. All the reason, the reason we're talking about, honestly, is just to kind of poke and prod some of you to go, we need to do more of this. Yeah, we've got to focus on this a little bit.
Yes.
Even as we were putting this together, listen, we knew PDA. Okay, it's kind of this, but we've found ourselves kind of, since we started doing some research on this, we're kind of upping our own game.
Absolutely.
It's kind of convicting. You're just like,
Yeah.
this is really important stuff
Yeah.
to keep that marriage or fix that marriage even on its outset. So kissing is actually a really big one. We've said it probably twice now that kissing releases those feel-good hormones. So I mean, wrap your mind over it. This is what we're really talking about. You kissing your spouse. Probably more than just a peck. So we're talking about real sort of deep dish kissing here. Deep dish pizzas, deep dish kissing.
Nice.
So it's that kind of
We're
stuff.
full of analogies tonight.
It does. Yo-yos and deep dish.
Yes.
when you're really kissing, I don't know what camera I'm looking at. Is it this one? When you're really kissing, your brain just starts firing stuff, and all your all the nodes and things like that start firing really good stuff, and that you can start feeling better. So this is huge, right?
100%.
It's huge stuff, because some of us don't feel better for long periods of time, long stretches of time. So much so that because we don't feel good, I don't want to kiss. It's this sort of vicious cycle. I don't want to kiss. I don't feel good. Not right now. Blah, 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 blah. When your brain's saying, well, if you just sort of put those lips on their lips and started going for it, you'd start feeling better. Now, it's very interesting. Feel-good hormones. So here's some things that I think are kind of encouraging about
Tell us.
kissing. If you kiss a lot, kissing will make you more alert. This is scientific research. It will make you actually more alert. You ever been married to somebody who's always tired, always sleepy? I'm just saying, you should be kissing more. Sneak up to them, just start kissing them. It's really amazing. Also, when your body's more alert, and if you do a lot of kissing, your body's ready for more. So, if you know what I'm saying there, some intimacy there.
Energizing.
Here's some good things to everybody who's feeling like 2020's been so stressful. Boy, it's just so stressful. I don't know, have you felt it? It's just so stressful. And I've got lots of work, and I'm stressed, and we're stressed. Kissing reduces your stress levels. This is from the Western Journal of Communication. They discovered, it's a 2009 study, if you actually spend time kissing, your stress levels will drop. Give it a try. The stressed out ones right now are going, no, it's not true. That's because you don't want to try it. It's science. Can't argue with science. Here's something I think is a good thing. Stress level can lower your cholesterol.
Wow, that's important.
Kissing reduces, I said stress level. Kissing reduces your stress, lowers your cholesterol level. Here I thought I just need to start eating margarine, but we just start kissing more, right? That's good. I like this one. This one's huge. This is going to blow some of you guys away. You ready for this?
Tell us.
Kissing can reduce allergies.
What?
I'm telling you.
No way.
I'm telling you. It's absolutely, it was a Japanese study done in 2003. It was published in Physiology and Behavior. That's the journal that it was published in. They took 90 participants, 30, they broke them up into groups of 30.
Wow.
And what's really amazing is the ones who kissed for, wait for it, do you want to know how long you have to kiss? Have you got some allergies? Would you like to work on your allergies?
I have some dust allergies.
You don't want your allergies.
Yeah, no.
Nobody wants allergies. All you have to do is kiss. But how long should you kiss? This Japanese study, if people kissed, the people who kissed, this is some luscious kissing, for 30 minutes every day. I'm not kidding. That's what it says right here. 30 minutes every day with their partner in a private room while listening to soft music. Give me an amen on this. They found out at the end of their smooch sessions, they had significant relief from skin issues like hives,
Wow.
and they had significantly less allergic reaction to things like pollen and house dust mites.
Wow. Wow.
Mic drop right there. That's amazing. All you sniffling allergy people out there spending money on medicine, just kiss your spouse. What, in a private room for 30 minutes with soft music? You want me to wrap
Give
this
us
up?
more. No, I want to hear
it's
more.
good.
Absolutely.
You want to kiss me after this?
Yeah, for sure.
Here's one that kind of blows me away. If you kiss, and you kiss for real, this isn't a smooch, but if you kiss,
Yeah.
it's going to help your dental appointments.
What?
Yep. You have less, you're going to have less cavities. Cavities. You're going to have less of this kind of stuff.
Wow.
You're going to keep the dentist away. The act of kissing stimulates your salivary glands. Salivary?
Wow.
So your saliva glands. The old spit glands, they get going when you kiss. That doesn't seem very romantic, does it? And it produces saliva, and that fluid moistens the mouth, makes swallowing easier. It also removes cavity-causing particles that stick to you. Well, this is kind of gross now that I'm reading this. But that saliva takes away stuff that's going to give you a cavity.
Impressive.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
So you're going to lower your cholesterol. You're going to have less stress. You're going to boost your immunity. You're going to keep the dentist away. You're going to have less allergies. And,
I'm sold.
It's kind of the obvious ones at the end here. But the more you kiss, the more you have compatibility. That's what they've discovered. So the more you kiss, the more you get along with the person you're kissing. Now, here's the shocker. At least I found this shocking. And this is not, I'm not anti-sex. You guys know that. I'm a big believer in having sex with your spouse. But compatibility and connectivity happens between two people more with kissing than anything else.
Wow.
So if you're feeling,
that makes sense to me.
If you're feeling distant and not connected to someone, to your spouse, kiss them for an extended period of time, and all of a sudden you feel like it's us against the world and you're connected.
Wow.
Here's what was amazing though. They did scientific studies and they discovered that sex does not do that the way kissing does.
Wow.
I kind of figured two people getting really intimate, after they're done, they're going to feel that real connection. But what they're discovering is, I guess there's an intimacy about kissing. There's a tenderness about kissing. There's a lowering your guard about kissing that, at least in our contemporary society, is even more so than the actual act of sex. So I'm not anti-sex. I'm not saying that. But how interesting is that about kissing?
That's really beautiful. That's very beautiful.
So,
and this
is the private display of affection.
This is the private display of affection. And I know we've talked before about how kissing is also, it must be the same thing you're talking about, but like the bonding.
I'd like to give you a kiss, actually, right now. I'm looking at you talking about all this.
The bonding that happens in kissing is almost like imprinting. Remember we talked about that at some other time.
And what is imprinting?
So many, imprinting is just really, what is imprinting?
Well, it's like, I mean, you become me.
I just think about Twilight and that series,
Twilight. Oh, my wife.
But I mean, it is very romantic. And,
it's
and really,
heavy-duty bonding, right?
It's important to keep that imprinting on each other, even the longer we're married.
Yeah.
So
and I have one more stat. Can I share one more kissing stat? This is just for the men.
Yeah. Okay.
Not for the women. Women, go to the fridge.
Oh, it's that study.
There's one more study, and I think this is just so amazing. Men who kiss their wives for a good amount of time every single day live 5 years longer than other men.
What more can we say?
Good night, everybody. That's amazing.
Okay, so we really parked on kissing, and it's important. It's important that we do with private display of affection. But let's share some other private displays of affection.
There's none.
Because there is. There's lots of others, and there's so many other things we can talk about.
Yeah. private
What were we going to
displays.
talk about? You were going to mention some other ones.
Well, this is all the stuff we know, right? Really take time for each other. Maybe draw a bath for your spouse, right? Get
Nice.
some, what's that called? Epsom salts?
Yes.
Epsom salts?
Sure.
And things like
Sounds
that.
good to
some
me.
essential oils make things smell nice. Rose petals in the bathtub,
yeah.
or a trail of Hershey's Kisses to the bedroom on the floor.
Maybe
Like, follow these
some
kisses.
candles.
that sort of
Candlelight's
thing.
always nice.
Yeah, stuff like that. Hey, you know what you can do for your spouse? I learned this is take some towels, even if they're clean towels, take them and sort of chuck them in the dryer and make them nice and warm, and then,
Such a great
you
idea.
see what we're
Such
doing
a great
here.
idea.
So there's just think
Yeah.
when it comes to private display of affection, think pleasure, think enjoyment, think of them.
Yeah. Because I love physical touch, I think about the 5, what do you call it, senses, What are the 5 senses? Taste, touch, smell, hear. What's the other one?
Kissing.
Sight,
no.
sound. So, nice music, just all kinds of things. And actually, we did an episode a while back when we were doing a series on intimacy. We did one called the Date Night Edition. And we talked about all the aphrodisiac foods that you can supposedly that will help you to get in the mood. Or
if not, it's just fun food to eat.
yeah. So that was a really fun episode if you want to go back and look at that one.
Yeah.
But this is a great time of year, really, to get the blankets out, to get a nice movie going and hot chocolate or whatever makes you feel good and close to your spouse. But mostly, as you were talking about kissing, I think over the holidays we should make it our goal to keep our breath minty fresh and just be ready. Just be always ready to have a good kissing session with our spouse.
Wow.
That would be a really good goal to have over the holidays because it gets busy and we can not focus on each other, and we should do that.
Right. No, that's a challenge. That's a challenge. Summer's like, forget that. Boy, that's.
No.
Well, really, you should, right? Maybe have a candy cane handy.
Well, we were talking about what would be the 2020 marriage fixes as we're ending the year and we are going into the new year.
Yeah.
And I think being affectionate and sensitively being playful, as Chris said, with our spouse, and really, and being affectionate in the way each other likes. You have to talk about it, what you like, because maybe when you're in the middle of cooking something and you're busy washing dishes, you don't want to have your spouse come up and want to, kiss at that moment or whatever. But we really do think affection, finishing out the year with a real affectionate month together with your spouse, would be a great way to end 2020.
Yep.
Fix some of the problems that we've had this year.
Yeah, seriously. And if you are one of those couples that hear other people say, "Oh, get a room. Oh, you guys are gross." Maybe you have kids and they kind of do that. Just remember this: when it comes to public displays of affection, certainly private displays are private, but public displays of affection, if people react to that, just know this: deep inside, they kind of like it. If you've got kids that are like, "Oh, mom, dad, gross me out," it's true. They're grossing out-ish. But they kind of like it. There's a lot to be said. Even I think about just friends of ours that we're around. We really enjoy being around other people who really love each other.
Absolutely.
It makes you feel better. It actually calls you higher as well. I'm really impressed with that. There's no shortage of times where back before COVID, where we've driven home from somebody's house and just talked about, I need to be more. I wish you would be more that way, or we should be more that way.
It's
you
true.
See how those kind of things, that public display of affection is
inspiring
for you, and is for the other you, the other part of you, and is for others as well. So our challenge as we conclude here is, strange topic, public display of affection, but it really can be a fix for where you're at in your marriage. Try it this week. We dare you. And for the guys out there, try it and live a little bit longer, would you? Right? So for in the month of December, we just want to really give you this challenge. Let's make a date with our spouse, or a few dates with our spouse. Maybe you can't go out. Maybe it's not in movie theaters. Maybe it's just on the couch in front of the fireplace. But let's be intentional. Say, send a text message, or ladies, send a text message to your husband. Hey, tonight, get yourself ready. I'm getting ready. Woo, something. Send those kind of messages. And stop all the busyness and your busyness of life and just say, it's time to turn up the heat with some PDA, right?
Absolutely.
So,
love it.
That's what we have to say
Yes,
about that.
yeah.
And as we wrap up here,
Enjoy that.
we want you
fix.
to know that that was our marriage fix, public display of affection, private display of affection. That'll turn up your heat. That's your 2020 marriage fix. We want you to join us again next Monday. That's going to be our last one. That's going to be our
Yeah.
Christmas edition, our last time together before the Christmas holidays. And we've got another Marriage Monday 2020 marriage fix coming at you.
A special one.
We're hoping to get some help. We're hoping to have some of our
Yes.
faithful watchers to sort of share
Yes,
with all
we
of
do.
you
We need
as
you
well.
to help us.
So thanks so much for paying attention to us tonight and our challenge. Some public display, some private display, some live longer, some bonding, some imprinting. Right, always be on top. And however you hold hands, may you hold hands and kiss lots and lots and lots over the holidays.
Good
Thanks so
night.
much. Have a good night.